felt that you criticized him at some point.
What?
And they were like,
what is the job of a strategic communicator? My job is to find faults in their own campaign. That's it. But I didn't abuse it. People were using abusive languages. His own supporters were abusing my principal. So what if I decided to go to the gutters with them? I never did, because I am a professional media PR man. In the year 2019, I was given the honorary fellowship of the African Public Relations Association in Rwanda. That's a big one. The only other person who got it that year was the former president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. That's to tell you the level that I attained with public relations. I operate globally, not just in Nigeria. You know me more than a lot of people do. We've come way back from Ife and Concord days and all that. And you know that I throw my full weight into whatever assignment you give me. So, to say I criticized him, what did they expect me to do? To praise him? Then why did I take the job? You see, people are unnecessarily sentimental in Nigeria. There is an article I'm doing now about a country of let's move on. I'm doing my research. One of the reasons Nigeria is going backwards in the area of democracy is this attitude of let's just move on. Everything is, he's your friend now, stop criticizing. Elections are over. Egbabe for long. God has chosen. Let us move on. No. But we didn't move on when we were fighting Abacha. We didn't move on when we were fighting Babangida. So how come now that it's the turn of my friend, then we should just move on? What legacy are we going to bequeath to the generation unborn? Let's just move on. It's wrong. I learned so much in Ife. You were in Ife. It was under Wole Soyinka that I learned about how the man dies in who keeps silence in the face of tyranny. What we are playing with in Nigeria today is serious dictatorship. If Nigeria is not careful, Nigeria will almost become a monarchy. Why are we wasting our resources anyway on democracy when we will not allow it to thrive? All it takes is for you and I just make money by any means possible, make money, and hijack the system. Anybody can buy the Nigerian system. That's what happened. I tell people, I have no apologies about it, that this election was hijacked clearly. This election was bought without any iota of remorse. And people say, let's just move on. Why? Oh, he's your friend. Oh, he gave you 500 pounds 1 year. Well, nobody. You see, what I've also realized is that Nigeria is a country of the big man. Nobody ever calculates how much I've given back in return. All the free covers of Ovation that I've done, because this man is my friend and I love him. Nobody considers that. Oh, when I talk about Wike, Wike used to give you money. Oh, but nobody considers what I gave in return, that it was no free money. It was my client I was working for, and I did it very diligently, and he enjoyed it. Okay? Oh, just move on. Don't reply Wike, because Wike is a governor. Even if I'm 7 years plus older than him, it is irrelevant. Oh, let's just move on because he has money. One woman in PDP was abusing me on the platform yesterday. I just didn't want to, because the person was clearly very irrelevant anyway. So was abusing me, on the platform. Dele Momodu this, Dele Momodu that, and I'm like, when did we start all this nonsense? So when I've been, since 1983, I've been dealing with governors. I've been interacting with governors since 1983. Where were some of the governors we have today? I respect constitutional authority. I respect everybody. Whether you are poor, you are rich, it's really material. I respect people. And I respect Wike. But if Wike does not respect me, I definitely will respond. That's the kind of person I am. You know it. I have a tradition, I have a history that if you disrespect me, when I respect you so much, there is no way I'm going to take it. And I'm going to respond politely. for the records, because Google captures everything. If somebody says, oh, Dele is an idiot, and I don't respond, tomorrow, somebody searching for my name from anywhere in the world, the first thing that person will see is that Dele is an idiot. So if we can say Dele is an idiot, I will reply. I won't call him an idiot, but the way I will reply, I'll be able to describe who he is. That's all.
How do you see,
Excuse me.
how do you see those that can call your counterparts in the APC who also handle the image of Ashwaju, their response to most of the things you?
I see most of them as guerrilla fighters. All they do is fight all the time. I don't want to mention names. I'm to say I'm very, very disappointed in some of them. You know, in fact, the person I expected to attack me, but we have mutual respect for ourselves, is Chief Femi Fani-Kayode. And he said it clearly from the beginning, that if there is one person to respect in PDP, is Dele Momodu. He knows that me, I'm thoroughly professional. I will never, even if he slaps me, I will almost turn the other cheek, because I like him. I have a soft spot for him. I like people who are brilliant. I may not agree with his reactions to issues, but he's someone that I respect his brains, and I knew his dad very well. He was one of our heroes in Ile-Ife, and I will always extend a hand of fellowship to him. But most of the time, what I see in the APC is a Fuji house of commotion. Everything they must fight. And that's why you see that they keep making mistakes day by day. Instead of jubilating and rejoicing, they are making every effort to criminalize everybody. Everybody is their enemy. They are paranoid. They are neurotic. It's unfortunate.
What are the lessons that you would say you've learned from your experience over the last few months of your involvement in the presidential race and the results and the post-election period?
Well, is that a lot of Nigerians apparently don't believe in democratic institutions. They think it's a joke. Democracy is a game of number, and it's a game of preference. I prefer A to B. There should be no fight. I will be the first to congratulate Tinubu, Peter Obi, or Atiku if we followed the rules stricto sensu. If we followed it, I would have been the first to congratulate them. I supported Atiku and Peter Obi in 2019. I wasn't a member of PDP then. I supported them freely, voluntarily, without charging them one kobo. I supported Major General Momodu Buhari in 2015 without charging a kobo. I handled all his PR the day he went to Chatham House in 2015. I traveled from Ghana to London on my own ticket. I just left London when Dr. Bukola Saraki called me and said, General Buhari was going to Chatham House and that there is nobody to help him with publicity. I traveled immediately back to London. I didn't charge him a dime for it. And I wasn't a member of APC. And when I noticed that they were not doing fine, I made sure that I started writing open letters to him, and he invited me to Aso Rock. I went to see him, and he asked me questions, what do I think? And when I felt that their case was irredeemable, I abandoned them completely. That's who I am. People don't know how difficult it is. That's another article I'd like to do. The sacrifice of being in opposition. I see people abuse me. Oh, it's because of money that he supported this. Anybody who is in opposition is a foolish man who doesn't like money. If I like money, with the APC, I'll be in APC. I will have unfettered access to Tinubu. I will have unfettered access to about 22 governors in Nigeria. That's where the money is. Atiku is an individual who has been running on his own. Atiku is a businessman. Atiku does not have access to the kind of money excuse me, that Tinubu has, especially in Lagos. Lagos State alone is bigger than most countries of Africa. So if money was my issue, I have known the governor since he was at First Atlantic Bank, and we have been close friends. He's my brother. But that's not me. I love to support what I can defend. Whatever I cannot defend, I'd rather keep quiet and just go away. So I can tell you that once I made up my mind, I wanted to run, I wanted to be president. They asked me, if you don't get the ticket, are you going to jump ship? I said, no, I'm a principled man. At that stage, I had already crossed the Rubicon. You cannot turn back after saying that I will not, that if I don't win. So what if I had won? So would I now step down for Tinubu because Tinubu is running in APC? People are being unfair. This happened in the past between Nduka Obagbin and Chief MK Abiola when people were attacking Nduka, that Nduka was attacking Abiola. And I was there when he told Chief. He said, Chief, but we're not in the same party. That is wisdom. You cannot accuse a man who is not in your party that is not supporting you. I won't do what Wike did. If Wike was not going to support Atiku, I will leave. Then I can come back later. That is what Saraki did. That's what Atiku did when they were tired of PDP in the party. They didn't stay in the party to wreck the party. They left the party. If you don't agree with somebody is inciting people. He says he hates Sheikh Kende, he doesn't like Sheikh Kende, and he remains there. And he is fighting you within an organization. And the person is still using the same organization to make money and so on and so forth. And is that a good thing? If you are not cowardly, you will leave the party and see if you can survive without the party. You want to wreck a party from which you are going to benefit. That's my disagreement with them.
I was going to ask you, what do you think explains why Alhaji Atiku Abubakar allowed certain key players to leave and then now saw what became of their opposition to him? I mean, someone like Peter Obi, Wakwanso, even the Wiki you're talking about and all that. Most of these guys were in PDP,
Yeah.
but they all left at some point, and some people believe that also weakened the.
PDP remains the most formidable political party. Like, what happened in PDP was a storm in a teacup. Trust me. When something happens, people will find excuses as to why it happened. When Chief Abiola, when the election was annulled, people gave 1,001 reasons. Some of them are so ridiculous that you will say, why do people reason like this? The truth of the matter is that Wike left to pursue his own ambition. He didn't leave the party, rather. He worked against the party because he wanted to retaliate against what happened, that they didn't pick him. He saw himself already as president, and he had his hardcore loyalists who went with him. What happened in APC was far smaller than to what happened in PDP was far smaller to what happened in PDP. APC was a very, 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 let me put it well. What happened in PDP is much smaller to what happened in APC. APC was a world war. PDP was a civil war. Okay? You are talking about Wike. Have you ever seen where they lambast a sitting president, the way they lambasted Buhari? El-Rufai was talking to Buhari as if Buhari was his houseboy. Tinubu was saying Buhari Busekun, Olule, Oche, everything. We didn't have that in PDP. It was just a case of people who lost out, and they were not ready to accept that they lost out. And then, if I say I'm a Christian, what has Christianity taught me? Christianity has taught me to be able to forgive my enemies. There is nobody who has ever offended me that I cannot forgive, unless the person is not ready to be my friend again. If you want to be my friend, I'll be your friend. You know of so many things that happened in the past, and almost immediately I'll move on. But we had a Governor Wike who does not listen to anybody, who feels that he has the power of life and death, who believes that he has too much money. I'm sure he has more money, than Dangote, Adenuga, Otedola, Jimovia, Tony Elumelu, all of them combined. That's what I see. Money alone cannot determine how we will react to you. You can have all the money in the world, but we also have God. But for God, we won't be where we are. Do you know how many governors we have survived in our lives? Do you know how many presidents we've interacted with in our lives? Be humble. When God loves you, be humble. And that's what I have been trying to teach him, to tell him, But I became his enemy.
How do you see the performance of Peter and his followers?
I would say that Peter Obi surpassed my expectations, and of course, I was one of the victims of the ferocious attacks from his supporters. But that's democracy. If you don't want to get wet, don't go near a river. So, in fact, that's one of the articles I'm also doing. Leave Peter Obi alone. If you look at the cover of my online paper today, The Boss, who is bullying Peter Obi, that's what's on the cover. And I was one of those who sat with the board of editors to take that decision that, look, let's examine what's going on. They said someone impersonated him the other day and he was detained in London. That's unfortunate. He has every right to run. Even if his supporters are abusing everybody, it's also their right. Chief Edke Abela used to say, oh, you can't beat a child and tell the child not to cry. You know, people are very, very enraged. They can see that this election, yes, I must re-emphasize it. They can see that it was hijacked. It was a garrison operation, and I stand by it. It was hijacked, fully hijacked. And when you say, oh, it's because Wike left, if it's because Wike left, how come 3 of his governors perished in the process?
When you say hijacked how?
Hijacked, fully bought. It's very easy. This is Nigeria. It's easy to buy anything. That's why people will say, oh, yes, just declare me and then let them go to court. They know what they are saying. If a senior advocate of Nigeria, one of the best in Nigeria, is telling us, Ulis Agbakoba is telling us, senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, is telling us that he's not sure if he has confidence in the Nigerian judiciary, then the country is doomed. When I watch what is going on, I wait for my country. So why did we waste our time going to exile? Why did we waste our time fighting for democracy? And it is an irony that those of us who fought at that time against dictatorship were the ones now practicing dictatorship. It is very unfortunate. I see some of the media gurus who suffered. Some of them went to prison because of this fight against dictatorship. When they talk now, in fact, Uche Chukwumeri, all of them in their graves, they'll be crying. I'm telling you. But some of them were my seniors, and so I just keep quiet and watch them from afar, that every man will choose what he wants in life.
So what would you say is the way forward now from this point?
Well, they are already in court. The case is in court. I'm not a judge. The way forward is that I hope that our courts will be bold enough if they find substantial infractions, which I believe they will find. You can see that we have been very smart in PDP. We are not saying, oh, we won by force, so you must do this, you must do that. Number one is that the process was not followed. That is key. Number two is that there are certain flaws even within the candidacies of some of these parties. So it is up to the judges to determine, not me. But certainly that election would have to be invalidated if the judges find, but if they use technicality to say, let's just move on. That's why I'm doing the article on let's just move on. Our attitude is, oh, let's just move on. It has happened, and we'll find a way to prevent it next time. We've been doing it for 24 years. Next time may be even worse than this one.
I was going to ask you, I know you've always had your position on the problem with Nigeria, but from this your last experience and all that, what would you call the biggest problem that we are faced with in Nigeria?
It's the selfishness of members of the political class. Everybody is selfish. Everybody feel that the only way they can have power of life and death is by being in government. It's only few people like us who have never been in government. Maybe that's why we are able to tolerate the tenets of democracy. Our politicians are very intolerant. I mean, now a lot of us have become their enemies suddenly. We used to be friends for 2-3 decades, but suddenly because you don't agree with them, you don't support, their rascality, their ability to hijack the system. I will continue to say that people, what they are doing now is not, what they are doing is a civilian coup. What we are witnessing in Nigeria today is a civilian coup. We used to complain about the military coup. Now civilians have now realized that they too can use money to actually hijack the country.